Welcome back to Movie Man, the channel where we take things that go bump in the night, break down how they bump, and then make a questionable joke about it. Today, The Taking of Deborah Logan. It's basically The Exorcist meets The Blair Witch, if both of those films were shot by a documentary crew who accidentally rented a haunted switchboard. The film starts like most modern horror setups. Three documentary students, Mia, Gavin, and Louise, tracking the daily life of an elderly woman with aggressive Alzheimer's. That's the documentary part. The oh no part? Deborah Logan slowly becomes a physical and mental hazard, speaking languages she's never learned and doing things with her jaw that are more National Geographic than National Geographic ever asked for. Why does this happen? It all starts with the number 337. That line used to belong to Dr. Henry Desjardins, a local physician who, and I'm putting this lightly, was the worst kind of doctor. Think less, prescribe antibiotics, and more, prescribe ritualistic human sacrifice. Mia is the director. She thinks she's making an emotional documentary about Alzheimer's and ends up making a highlight reel for demonic possession. Luis is the cameraman, the one who notices the paranormal stuff first because he's always pointing the lens at it. He's our voice of reason and the guy you actually want on your side when things go south. And Gavin? Gavin's the realist. He takes one look at Deborah's late-night creepy French conversations about snakes and human sacrifices and decides his film school project can be about literally anything else. He leaves before the blood hits the fan. Then we've got Deborah, the star. She used to run a switchboard answering service, connecting people before smartphones existed. And now, that same board is apparently connecting her to something very, very bad. Why does Deborah let them film? One word. Foreclosure. Her daughter Sarah convinces her that the money from the documentary will help save the house. In horror logic, that's basically the same as signing a contract that says, yes, I consent to being possessed for plot purposes. And honestly, the movie nails the sad real-world horror here. Sometimes you take bad deals because life gives you no choice. Unfortunately, this deal comes with side effects like spontaneous foreign language skills and the occasional urge to unhinge your jaw like a snake. At first, Deborah's increasingly erratic behavior is chalked up by her doctor, Dr. Nazir, to Alzheimer's symptoms. And yes, Alzheimer's can cause extreme confusion and agitation. But that doesn't usually involve reciting detailed snake rituals in French while staring directly into the abyss. When that starts happening, you might want to at least entertain the supernatural theory. Louise catches the really weird stuff. Like Deborah standing completely still for long stretches, whispering under her breath, or violently slamming windows with inhuman strength. It's unsettling in that slow, creeping way where you realize this isn't just a sick grandmother, this is something else. The 337 phone line keeps popping up, so the crew does some digging. That's when they uncover the backstory of Dr. Henry Desjardins, a man who went full Silence of the Lambs meets Hereditary. He murdered 4 young girls in ritualistic, cannibalistic fashion, all part of his plan to achieve immortality. And he needed 5 victims. Virgins who had just had their first period. Creepy, vile, and also deeply confusing because, dude, just take a vitamin and get on with your life. Years ago, Deborah found out Desjardins was planning to make her daughter Sarah the 5th victim. So she killed him and buried him in the backyard. Noble. Yes. Effective. Not so much. Because this is horror, and burying evil in your own property just makes your lawn haunted. Thematic layer. Memory, fear, and identity, 12 o'clock to 14:30. This film works because it's not just about scares, it's about the tragedy of losing yourself. Alzheimer's erases memory, identity, and agency. Possession does the same thing, only with more teeth. When Deborah is gone, is it the disease? Or is it Desjardins taking the wheel? The scariest part is, the movie doesn't always make that distinction clear. That blurring is what keeps you hooked. It's like the world's worst game of, is grandma okay? Where the answer is usually, no, and also she might be planning a satanic ritual. Possession escalates, 14:30 to 16:30. Things escalate when Deborah abducts Kara, a young cancer patient she'd previously tried to take. This is where the story swerves hard into possession territory. We learn more about the ritual. In a case from Africa, a woman was possessed by her dead son, and the possession only ended when his body was burned. That's the big clue. Burn the corpse, end the evil. Problem is, they tried to burn Desjardins' body, and it doesn't work. Which in horror means you're about to have a finale where things get way worse before they get better. The Mine Sequence and the Snake Jaw, 1630 to 1830. Deborah abducts Kara and takes her to the same place Desjardins killed his victims, an abandoned mine. Mines are already scary, dark, claustrophobic, dangerous. Add a demon grandma into the mix, and you've got something genuinely nightmare-inducing. Sheriff Tweed tries to save the day but gets instantly killed, because cops in found footage films are basically just wearing red Star Trek shirts. And then we get the scene. Deborah's jaw stretching open like she's auditioning for a horror remake of Anaconda. She tries to swallow Kara's head whole in a snake-like manner. It's horrifying, unforgettable, and honestly, still less creepy than the Teletubbies. Yeah, I said it. Those things are nightmare fuel, big soulless eyes, giant baby sun in the sky, and an endless void of green hills. At least with Deborah, you know where the threat is coming from. Thankfully, they finally managed to burn Desjardins' corpse for real, breaking the possession and saving Kara. The fake happy ending. 1830 to 1930. The film closes with news footage. Deborah is deemed unfit to stand trial. Kara survives her cancer, and everything seems fine. Until Kara turns to the camera and gives a slow, unsettling smile that says, "Surprise, the demon lives in me now." It's the perfect horror ending. Evil doesn't die, it just changes hosts. And now it's in a child. Sleep tight.